Hi, everyone. This is Kristen Egger. Today's healthcare topic in the IDChat Podcast series is authentication. Which authenticators or identity tokens should healthcare organizations adopt in order to positively identify patients? Joining me today to continue our conversation is Catherine Schulten, and she is the VP of Product Management at LifeMed ID. So a few episodes back, we actually talked about the authenticators and the differences in choice and combination. It sounded like there were quite a few. Can you tell me why authenticator flexibility is really important in healthcare?
It's a very important consideration for the healthcare organization to consider their own patient population along with their workflows to make the right determination about the type of authenticators they want to use. Some of the most common authenticators used in healthcare are biometrics, card-based authenticators, and recently we've been seeing some introduction of mobile phone tokens. So let me talk a little bit about each one and the flexibility that each one offers. So a biometric token we most often see are fingerprint, palm vein, facial biometrics. These are very common biometrics. But one thing you have to consider is, does this authenticator work for your patient population? For example, people of different ages will have susceptibility to how well that biometric might work. Example would be a fingerprint biometric. The older you get, the less collagen you have in your finger, and so therefore the read might be degraded and is not as easy to capture a fingerprint biometric. Facial biometrics, also a good choice, but one has to consider their patient population, and are there people with religious or cultural sensitivities? They might not want to have their picture taken. The location of your biometric reader can also be a factor. It can be impacted by light and temperature and how often it's used. So these are just examples of things that one must consider for biometric factors. Card-based authenticators, on the other hand, those are nice. They are used in all sorts of situations, but often people can forget them, choose not to use them. So that's another consideration you have to have. And if you're going to choose mobile phone tokens, that's a great choice, but you have to also consider the percentage of your population that has a smartphone. So that might be a factor.
Wow, so there are truly quite a few authenticators that people can choose from.
Absolutely. And once again, there is no single type or single solution that addresses all situations. In fact, we often encourage our clients to choose at least 2 different authenticator types, because you will find that the choice of just one won't meet all conditions or will be appropriate in all scenarios. So once again, consider adoption by your patient population. If the workflow around the token is difficult, challenging for some patients to use, it likely won't be adopted. Consider the cost to deploy the authenticator. That includes the cost of the reader, the number of readers you might need, basically the overall total cost of ownership.
Are there any tokens that don't cost anything to the hospital?
Actually, there are, if you want to think of it this way. On your own mobile phone, many of us have fingerprint recognition that we use today to log into sites. Our mobile phones come with cameras, and we could take a selfie. And this is called biometric on device. That means that the hospital, for example, doesn't have to deploy their own readers or have their own software in place to accommodate that biometric. The patient, using an identification application, such as one provided by LifeMed ID, uses the technology that's on the patient's own cell phone or smartphone to do the biometric read. In essence, it's free to the hospital.
To learn more about what type of authenticators Amy supports to positively identify patients, visit lifemedid.com. Catherine, thank you for coming on today. And to all of our listeners, stay tuned, same time next week for our next IDChat podcast topic.